What's going on, everyone? So, if y'all didn't know, Phil Spencer did some interview talks yesterday with Danny right here, Pina, and a friend of his. They've both been around for a while. They've always had conversations on and off. He likes them because they're pretty much down to earth, and they've supported the Xbox community for a long time, though they've been gaming longer than that. But in this interview, Phil Spencer definitely calls out Sony when it comes to locking games away. Not directly, but he kind of gets the point. But he's coming with a more universal mindset of going forth. He wants all the games to be on other platforms. So it's just like Nate the Hate was saying. He everything he said this year was actually true. Halo, Gears, all of them are coming to the Nintendo console and are coming to the PlayStation console. And here we're going to get 100% clarification. I knew this was happening because he kind of made that clear with the no red line situation last year. And they're going to go to what I like to call the next level of being a publisher and developer and making sure people get to experience their games. And then you'll be looking on PlayStation store, maybe not Nintendo because it's hard to dominate on their platform against their software, but you'll be seeing Microsoft published games topping the PlayStation charts, every week, monthly, and yearly. And Microsoft being one of the top publishers every year consistently. And they're making the highest amount of profit and revenue and expanding their communities at the highest degree and having a healthy community and just crossplay across all devices universally. And I think that's really good. So we're going to get into this and we're going to get some things clarified. I'm going to highlight a couple segments real quick to show you what he said about those statements and how things are actually going to be working. So this is a really good one. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. Man, I just woke up not too long ago, taking a long nap. Fucking spider bit me on my face, bastard. I'm gonna find him. We're gonna have a Pokemon battle, and I'm gonna win. I always win the Pokemon battles against spiders and mosquitoes. All right, enough entertaining. Let's get to some other entertaining. But yeah, love this interview. It was really cool. Let's get into it, y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll just say on a quick side note, a game camp is something that Xbox has done. I actually just saw a video that came out about detailing all that Xbox game camp has done, and it is to exactly your point about enabling the next generation of game creators globally around the world. And it's a fantastic program that Microsoft and Xbox is doing. But I have to stick with community, and I have to stick to listening to the community, and I have to ask this because if I don't, people will kill me. So a year ago, I want to talk about this is an Xbox, this new marketing thing that you have, but I want to put it in this context. So
Yeah, he's wondering like, what is it? What does that really mean? Now he's gonna fully explain that,
a year
which
ago,
we
you had
know.
the business update and you talked about the four games and putting that out there and learning from it. So obviously you've definitely learned something because we're now seeing things like Indiana Jones going to PlayStation 5. We're seeing, Doom the Dark Ages, obviously day and date on PS5 as examples, right? But you've also talked over the past year or so about more open platforms as an
Yeah,
example.
yeah.
Obviously, no red lines with some of your portfolio, things like that. And
Yeah.
I'm leading that into this is an Xbox. In your interpretation, so it's coming from your words, what does that mean now for Xbox as you head into the future?
Here we go.
Yeah, I want people to be able to experience the games that we build, the services that we offer on as many devices as we can. Obviously, some of the devices out there, some of the platforms are closed. They don't allow everything that we do to show up on those platforms. The thing that I've learned and continue to learn when I'm listening to creators, not only our own studios, but other teams building games, is every creator out there wants to build a game that can find as many players as they want. And frankly, there aren't many platforms out there that try to build connections to people on so many different screens. It's almost like single platform, single device, single game. And that's kind of the history of our business. And we're really taking an approach of we want people to be able to play Xbox on many different screens. Now, not every experience will be the same. We obviously love the native experience we have on our own platform and our own hardware. And
Mm-hmm.
that's something that will continue for us. But we're not going to put walls up around where people can engage with the great games our studios are building or where they
That right there was a shot at Sony. We're not gonna put walls up, meaning I'm taking this game and I'm putting a wall up, and it's only in this community. And I don't think he's necessarily talking about in-house. I think he's necessarily talking about locking games away from other platforms that are not even their own. So that's definitely a shot at Sony's face. Now we're going to get to him, like he pretty much said, not putting a wall up. This confirms two things: the shot at Sony professionally, and all games, Xbox games, including Halo and Gears, like Nate the Hate had said, and I've said this too for years that it's going to happen, is they're all going to be coming to the Switch too, and they're going to be coming to PlayStation consoles. But there's going to be a universal aspect. Now, will they all be day one across all devices? That I don't know, but we know that they're now coming. So it's happening, y'all. It's like PlayStation's going to be eating off of Xbox's plate. So yeah, let's see what happens here, right? We got to give credit to people who said that. And there was a lot of people denying that that wasn't true. They came in the comments, saying that they didn't think that was going to happen, but they didn't attack me. But it was like I was trying to tell y'all that it was going to happen, and it also means they're moving to that PC aspect. That hybrid OEM model that's going to have Steam and stuff on it is definitely going to be confirmed in here too, to an extent. Watch what he says later on.
They can experience Xbox through different forms, whether it's cloud, whether it's on PC, whether it's on handheld PCs, whether it's on phones. I want everybody to be able to play on Xbox. And it does mean more of our games shipping on more platforms, not just PlayStation. We love the work that we do with Nintendo. We love what we do with Valve on Steam.
We love what we do. What? Valve on Steam. There it is again. So these are all the collaborations that have already happened. We just didn't get shown it on the surface, but of course, there's people that can look behind the scenes and know that. So we know they already work together. Otherwise, how could you have those games coming? Yeah, it's already happened. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of things have already happened, but you just have to wait for it to come out in front of everybody. So that just means that this year, Microsoft's going to have the biggest publishing year in Xbox history. Think about all these games that we already saw coming to Game Pass, and what Ninja Gaiden 4 and the other Ninja Gaiden yesterday. On top of them publishing games coming out that have never been on Nintendo or on PlayStation. Halo's going to be massive on PlayStation along with Gears and all these other games. And on Nintendo. So Microsoft's probably going to be the top publisher this year. Without a doubt. With Nintendo. There's nothing Sony can do about that. The only way for them to try to compete is to put older PlayStation games out on Nintendo and put them on the Xbox. They're going to have to follow suit. Phil Spencer's leading them along to do that. Nintendo doesn't necessarily have to do that, but we're talking about PlayStation and Xbox here. So, guys, that all right there, he just laid it out. No filter. He said it straight up.
And that's going to continue. We'll just continue to do more of it because what we learn is put the games first. Make sure the games can be as great as they can.
That's the most important thing.
Experience on our own hardware, our own platform, but our games will show up in more and more places, no doubt.
If I could follow up really quick before we go to you, Danny. So along those lines.
Now people are probably going to wonder, because this is another aspect. And I like how he goes into things specifically in this interview, straight up. Do we need to get an Xbox anymore then? What would be the point, right? If there's no exclusives, because people thought that, but it's like people don't buy PlayStation for exclusives. Only necessarily Nintendo and Xbox back in the days for Halo and Gears when it was one of the biggest things in the world. He's going to answer the reason why, and I'll tell people myself. You know what I mean? Game Pass is it's day one games, right? By just having a service like Netflix, right? Play anywhere. You can play your games on Xbox right now. And if it's play anywhere, I can go on my PC if I'm on the road, or bring my Xbox if I'm on the road. My laptop, right? Some people have a desktop, you can't take that with you. Or if you have an Xbox, you could just re-download the game. Say, for example, if you're playing Starfield on your high-end PC, and you wanted to continue on the road and you had your Series X, you would be able to do that because that's what play anywhere means. It means the saves are integrated back and forth, and if you own it here, you own it there. It's actually a really cool feature. Full backwards compatibility all the way to original Xbox games. You know what I mean? It's like you have that full backwards compatibility system. They have really cool features like quick resume. They have instant turn on. You don't have to worry about losing power and going into like rest mode and damaging your hard drive. I mean, you could also do, and I figured out as well, play retro games on there too, and download a kit to play retro games. As many retro games as you want. They have a retro dev kit aspect in there, which I think is very cool. So it just depends. The cloud service is really good as well. So there's reasons. It just depends on if you want that to be a reason to have the console or not.
Because again, one of the concerns that I hear in the community is about your own hardware and the future of that. Now, I know Sarah Bond has stated, yes, we will continue to have Xbox hardware in the future, technical leap, things like that. You've obviously talked about the handheld that is still some years away, so eventually you're going to do something like that. But there is concern in the community about, well, you're putting all these games on these other platforms. Why would I still want an Xbox? What is going to be the reason for me to want Xbox hardware when I can get that experience on another platform?
And that's a good question he asked.
Yeah, I want people to pick hardware based on the capabilities of that hardware and how that fits into the choices they want to make about where they want to play. And we want our hardware to win based on the hardware capabilities that we have. I think the difference that we've seen in the last 20 years, and I think this is good because I come from building games, it's really game first, not platform first. Most of the games you and I will talk about run across so many different platforms. And those are the games that are having success. Those are the games that are at the top of the charts when you look at the most played, most successful games. And I want to build a platform that services those creators that are trying to meet people on every screen. But let's say, like our own hardware, I think it's fundamental to what Xbox is. It's not lost on me. I've said over and over that box is in the name of our brand. I'll say is in the position I'm in, I look at hardware as a critical part of what we do, but not trying to gatekeep the games off of other places for the benefit of it. Let's go build innovative hardware that people want to use to play, whether that's in their hands, whether it's on their television, or even other places. And I love our hardware team and spent some time with them just this week
Yeah.
and the roadmap that they have. And I think we're learning a lot from this. Like,
See, he called out Sony again. Gatekeeping. Yeah, I love how he does this, you know. Feels good at being Mr. Good Guy too, but it's just funny how he keeps on throwing shots at Sony because obviously he made it clear he loves Nintendo. Who doesn't? You know what I mean? And he says it again too, like later on that you know he has utmost respect for them. Or it was earlier in the interview. We'll get to other parts of that in another video, but we want to highlight what's important and getting to the you know the core aspects of why this is important and getting the answers out that people always wanted. Look at that look right there. Yeah, Sony get called out. You better follow suit.
Steam Deck and what does it mean for our games to be there? ROG Ally, what does it mean? Lenovo, what does Xbox mean on those platforms? I don't think
And I'm also like glad to see that he's happy and you know looking healthy, definitely for his age. That's good, Phil. I'm happy for that.
we've tuned it perfectly yet, and it's spent a lot of time with the teams on that. But I want to make progress there. LG and the work we're doing with cloud,
Yeah.
all of that helps us evolve our platform software so that we really embrace allowing someone to be a member of Xbox on whatever screen they want to play on.
Yeah, very quickly talking about handheld, and I'm very curious to hear your thoughts because I know when we see each other at events, we always talk about like what games we're playing, all that stuff. So as a gamer, what are your thoughts of the Nintendo Switch 2 that Nintendo just showed a couple days ago, the announcement? Just want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I exchanged some mail with Furukawa-san, the CEO of Nintendo. I gave him a big congrats. I said my old eyes appreciate the larger screen. I know how
Yes.
Everybody
simple
does.
that is, but dude, it's not always true that I can read all the text. But Nintendo in their innovation, and like what they mean in this industry, like I just always applaud the moves that they make. I think they did like a little flash video. I know we'll get more detail over time.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to supporting them with the games.
Phil, that was a get off my back, man, and stop nut riding with the leaks. You know what I mean? Get off my back, man. Here. I just dropped it real quick. We know that. Because you could tell by the way that the reveal was, and then like way over in April, they had different plans, you know what I mean, to start the fiscal year off with that. But yeah, you know how people are.
That we have, and I just think they're such an important part of this industry. So yeah, I think it's hard with what's publicly out there now about the platform for everybody to get their hands around it. But they've who would ever bet against the success of that team? I mean, they are just masterful in what they do. Switch is a massive success, and I think Switch 2 will be as well.
No, the reason I bring that up because it's very interesting how back then a lot of companies were like afraid to release a handheld, and now we're getting to see more of that now. Like how it's changed like the past couple.
I mean, look at it. They created a device category. Now you've got PCs going into that space. Like it's become natural. Like, well, what does it mean to take these games that also show up on the television, but are now on smaller screens, and are they playable? And because of the amount of travel I do, I probably play on my ROG Ally as much as I play on any device. And now I sound like an ad, but like the nice thing is when I pick up, there's my games. I mean, our Dev Direct yesterday, I was pushing the team at the beginning. Let's put that all these games are play anywhere because like more and more, that's an important thing that my save game travels to whatever screen I want to play on. My community's always there. And I just think that should be an expectation for all of us that the games we invest in are able to be played on any screen that we want to play them on.
Very good, because like he said, everybody's following Nintendo's route. They're innovative. They're masterful. Like, and they do way more with way less respects and still take gaming development to the highest peak. Now, of course, there was definitely some limitations eventually on the Switch, but that's going to stop now. And we know they use cartoony animated graphics, so the jump they're going to get is good for them. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe not necessarily third party, but you'll still be able to have that device that's more powerful than the Steam with DLSS on the go in handheld mode, but it's more about the docked for me for playing, Switch first party games and having that backwards compatibility feature. But at the same time, too, like I remember sometimes my power goes out, it'll randomly go out over here in the country. Um, and I was playing like Tears of the Kingdom, and guess what? When the power went out, PlayStation is the only device that has that issue. It goes in rest mode, and you have to go through this nonsense to get it on and take like 20 seconds or 30 seconds to recover and all that. The Switch just goes right to handheld mode. You take it off the dock and continue playing, right? You never have to worry about losing your save data or anything. And then if you just hit the power button, it goes into rest mode, and you just can click right back there, or just put it back on the screen and go in a higher definition. Like it's literally the greatest design ever. And they already had designs like that before. But one thing I like about Phil Spencer is that he gives respect where it's due. He's intelligent. He's down to earth. He didn't even have to talk to these guys. I mean, they had like 400 subs yesterday. He comes in and brings them all there. Like he's one of the few people that does that. Like he's an awesome individual. He goes out, he travels to Japan a lot and brings Japanese games over here. He messages people in the Xbox community. I mean, he's a cool guy and he comes down to earth. And like I said, he's one of the most emotionally mature individuals I've ever met because people could talk so much crap and give him so much negativity, definitely for the last 10 years when the Xbox brand was suffering. And he never lashed out and said anything negative. He's very mature about it. Like, he's a strong guy. And he keeps pushing and he keeps working and he never gives up. You got to respect that about him. Like, and I know about the good guy feel, all that. The people can say whatever they want, but still, at the end of the day, you got to give credit where it's due. Because of him, a lot of great things have happened in gaming, and nobody's perfect. But yeah, I think he's the best guy for the job, and nobody's gonna do a better job for him for the Xbox community. And I hope he stays around as long as possible because he's actually a gamer too. Like he says, I don't do TV shows; I play video games. So this was something to highlight. I might get into a second half of the interview to talk about some different things down the line. Let me know what y'all think. We got our answers here. Now, Sony, all pressure's on you. Step it up. Like, comment, subscribe. All right, y'all. Peace out.